What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Lootcast. Thank you guys so much for joining us here on youtube.com/thegamelooters. We have another beautiful Tuesday morning right here with you guys over there at home. And we have a very special episode lined up for you guys. So, what we're doing this episode is we're starting off by looking back at Xenoblade 2. So, Xenoblade 2 is coming out on December 1st. It's coming out with a few things. It's coming out with a beautiful controller.
Yes.
That we pre-ordered and we can't wait to get here in office. And it's also coming out with an exclusive collector's edition, which we did not get, which includes a steelbook or a book. It includes a soundtrack and some other stuff. Look into that. It's about $100 if you find that that's worth it to you. So in this episode, like I said, we're starting off by listening and watching with you guys at home. We're watching the Nintendo Direct centered around Xenoblade 2 because we're pretty darn excited for it. So we thought we would change it up a little bit. Instead of doing a live reacts, we're going to do an episode surrounded around this with you guys. And let's go ahead and get that all queued up here. We're excited, aren't we?
Yes, we are. I just can't wait for the remote.
Yeah, it's going to be quite awesome. And here it is. So beautiful opening to start off with.
One day the people of Elysium were cast out, and so the architect sent them his loyal servants, the colossal living lands known as Titans.
The colossal known as Titans.
I've always liked the idea of, riding on giant beasts.
Yeah, and then one of the really cool things about Xenoblade is each of the different worlds that you're going to visit, you're on a Titan. So I think the main world that you do is like you have like a small Titan, which is like the one that kind of like your tutorial Titan, I'll call.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be like the smallest one.
With Japanese audio and English subtitles, as we're excited to announce that this voiceover option will be available in the game.
And that's pretty cool because what you guys will see as we watch the rest of this and this beautiful trailer is the English voiceovers. There's something to be desired. So the fact that I can choose the original one and just read subtitles, I really like that as an option. So yeah, so the English, the English voiceovers though, they seem a little forced. In one arguably best games of the year, Zelda Breath of the Wild, they had English voiceovers, but they were amazing. Like they did a really good job, and you can tell they put a lot of production time into them. Unfortunately, with this game, didn't feel like they took the same fine-tooth comb with that English voiceover.
And to be honest, I really like the Japanese voices over regardless, because it feels more authentic.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And I think they just have more personality than an English voiceover would do.
Yeah, which isn't always the case. Sometimes there really is good voiceover acting that really hits the spot. I mean, Dragon Ball comes to mind when I think of something that sounds like super well, or like the Pokemon series. Even we're talking about like the video game versions too. I think they do really well. Persona 5 was done excellent.
So just seeing all the characters lined up right now, it really makes me feel like I'm gonna have a huge storyline. Yeah, and I'm excited for that. Especially with how big they say these Titans are.
So truly what excites me is Xenoblade Chronicles X. So we talked about a little while ago is that I'm playing through that on the Wii U. Still to this day I'm playing through it. I think I put maybe, I don't know, maybe upwards of 15 hours into it. So not a whole ton of time, but
But what?
But respectively, 15 hours is still nothing to scoff at, right? You put 15 hours into some games and you're completing the game, if not more than completing it, right? So I haven't still gotten into my mech in Xenoblade Chronicles X. So I've heard it takes 30 plus hours just for you to get a different part of the game that changes the whole dynamic. It basically changes the whole game. The reason I want to bring that up is that's kind of why I kind of stopped playing it. But when I look at this game, it looks like right from the get-go, maybe the first hour, maybe 2 hours is more tutorial, you know, get a feel for the game, and then it opens up. That's what excites me about this, because I love the world. I just don't like to have to grind for an abundance of hours to start actually playing and enjoying the game.
That's kind of what I kind of felt what happened with Horizon at the very... It wasn't until like the last chapter of the game on Horizon where you get like this incredible suit of armor. And I really would have wished I would have had it like in the very beginning.
So they're talking about the blades right now. They're saying drivers can be basically like the special moves, essentially, it looks like.
Plan on questing through Allrest. Seek out as many core crystals as you can find. Bond with the blades you conjure to life. And before long, your team will grow in strength and number.
And that's one thing that interests me a lot in games of this nature, these JRPGs. I like being able to mold, enhance, put together, and create new bonds or new creatures with my experience finding things in the world. I really like that collection aspect of it. That's one of the reasons that I put God knows how many hours in Persona, besides the great story it had. The ability just to create characters and things are just abundant.
Now, me personally, I've never played Xenoblade, so this is going to be my first, go at it. The world is really pretty. I love the animals and the creatures that I'm seeing in it.
And I like that too, that you're able to bond with animals too. Like, hey, like she's riding a big old wolf guy.
Yeah, and like that's her little friend.
You're safe. And the next, you could face a dangerous creature far beyond your current level. Allrest is home to many especially strong monsters carrying precious items. If you manage to best one, a tombstone will be left commemorating the creature. If you visit their graves, you can face them again. So they remember
that's neat.
who put them there. But
so they can remember who put them there.
Many desire to claim the Aegis, so stay vigilant and fight strategically.
Okay, so here are the blades.
Blades have a wide array of support abilities. While you're out adventuring, they may increase the number of items you collect.
I really like the art direction that they're choosing to go to as well. It's like that semi-real cartoony look.
Yeah.
Other special effects. When you fight alongside a blade, they may use blade arts to protect their
which I think is appropriate for the Nintendo Switch.
And so forth. In addition, elemental type, weapon type, and support abilities differ from blade to blade.
So what I'm noticing is there could be 3 drivers and 3 blades. Do you have control of all of them?
It looks like you do. The only thing that I can see is that you may have to choose
which driver to be.
Yeah. But it looks like more like you can choose like different abilities and things for them.
Furthermore, if you visit certain special locations, you can trigger heart-to-hearts that greatly boost their trust. It's a great way to see your companion in a different light. As you continue to resonate and acquire many blades, you may end up with some that you simply cannot find.
So it seems like blades is just another word for companions.
Into mercenary blades,
yeah.
You can dispatch them for missions. After some time, the team will return with experience points, rewards, and more trust than ever.
Yeah, I like that that loop of just leveling them up and then putting them into the wild and they return and you level them up, like that loop. I like that a lot.
Many secrets are accessible at a given time.
At least that way they're being put to good use and not just sitting in your inventory.
Yeah, that's one thing that Pokemon does really well. I know you didn't take advantage of it too much until like the later half is like in the new Sun and Moon, like you can create like little worlds and they're like little habitats for your Pokemon. You put them to work to get like rare gems, rare items, things like that. So I've always really been attracted to that kind of archetype in the game.
While exploring these huge environments, you may fear getting lost. Luckily,
That girl's cute.
Titans are full of special landmarks, and after discovering them, you can easily return at any time. Some landmarks can be difficult to reach. These secret areas have truly stunning views, whether you reach them during the day or at night. Somehow, you can set the time by turning the clock's hands.
Yeah, this is pretty
You can
exciting to
also
me.
expand your view a bit by removing the map from the screen. Throughout your journey, you will find bustling cities in each region of Allrest. From shopping districts to residential quarters, each city has its own distinct layout and atmosphere.
So for some reason, I'm always really attracted to games like this. Like, you know, people look at games like Horizon Zero Dawn, like you really like, or like Assassin's Creed, and you know, although those games really do excite me, and they do, I really do get excited about them.
You can count on rewards.
I don't have that feeling like, oh man, I'm gonna lose my life to this game. But when I see games like this, for some reason, I'm just like, oh man, I'm gonna lose my life to this game. Because this is one of the games that like I will just continually like put hours into. Oh, I get bored, let me jump in for a little bit. Oh, I'm watching TV, let me jump in for a little bit. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's just one of those games that I'll continually just put
It's a great place to shop.
God knows how many hours into them. Now, granted, it's gonna have to do a couple things to keep me coming back, but for the most part so far,
Strength, speed, and
it looks so deep that
some areas, like the Argentum Trade Guild.
yeah, I'm gonna have one of those like I did with Final Fantasy or Zelda or Persona. Like I'm gonna have one of those experiences to where like I put a ton of time into it.
See, me, I never had the chance to play these kind of games, you know, growing up.
Just slip by these enemies.
Personally, when I was younger, games this big scared me because I was like, I don't know if I want to get that invested into a game, and then what happens if I don't like it, or I get bored too easy. There's just so much that I haven't explored that I feel like I'm putting to waste.
Yeah, absolutely.
This type of customization
I think for me it's a little different. When I was younger,
truly one of a kind.
we would rent a lot of games, but I didn't.
Blockbuster.
Yeah, Blockbuster or whatever you rented at. But I got games, maybe a handful of games a year, right? I got maybe 2 or 3 during my birthday, 2 or 3 during Christmas, and maybe a random family member will give me 1 game, right? So I would get maybe 5 to 10. 10 is super like never 10, more like 5 games a year, right? So when I was younger, you know, a little bit older, maybe like upper elementary, middle school time, is I would play a lot of these games like on the GameCube. Like I have games behind me here, like Tales of Symphonia. I have the Final Fantasy series, the Chronicles, different Chronicles series, things like that. And those are the games I would look to play because I could put like a ton of hours into them. Even games like on the Xbox, like Knights of the Old Republic, things like that, I would really like to play because I knew I could invest a ton of time and just keep coming back to them.
Attackers, tanks, and healers. The combination you bring to battle.
And I have a few games like that too. There's also like biting Katos or whatever it is for the GameCube. It's like this weird card game, was very similar. GameCube was really known for like a lot of these games. Final Fantasy Chronicles, like there's a lot of these games.
That's 9 arts per driver. They're intensely
I think it's the other reason I'm attracted to them because I have that nostalgia too. Like it hits those certain strings for me too. I'm like, oh yeah.
soak in the action. As you win
I think that's why it doesn't hit it for me because again, I was never able to get into them at such a young age. I see them now and I'm like, it still reminds me of
Baten Kaitos.
of my fear when I was a kid. You know, it's just so big and deep that I don't know if I can get that committed to it. Of course, I'm definitely going to try it out this time and see if it'll hook me in as a first time
And
into the Xenoblade series.
this one I think will because of the hours you've put into Monster Hunter. So I think one of these two games they kind of mesh over each other.
Yeah.
Like if you're into Monster Hunter, which I think is even more niche. It sounds funny, but I think it's even it has even deeper mechanics than even this game does. Because this one seems more approachable, just a little bit more approachable.
You think so? Because I don't know. Monster Hunter to me felt simpler. But you know, I definitely the The graphics to me, yeah, definitely remind me of it, except for the new one that's coming out.
Yeah, well, I mean, so far from what I see here is, even with Monster Hunter, the reason that I never really got into the series is because it takes a long time to really start having, to me, fun with the game. This looks like it's almost instantly tangible.
I don't know, but in order to do everything it's telling you right now, it looks like you have to build your team. Like, you're not gonna have access to all of your blades and your drivers right away. You have to build this up, and who knows how many hours I'm gonna need to get, you know, a 6-man squad.
And I'm willing to find out,
The
though.
blades that Rex and his allies have on them will take turns unleashing their specials. This chain would normally break after.
So Rex is the main
But if you
character, of
succeed
course.
at bursting elemental orbs, you can rack up even more. Pull that off, and your status as a legendary driver will be cemented in history.
Cemented in history.
We've barely scratched the surface of Allrest's Titans in this Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Direct, and we hope you're really feeling it. However, we still have more to reveal. We're pleased to announce that an expansion pass will be available to purchase and will extend your adventures in the world of Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
So there's a few things to
This
notice here:
pass
December,
will gain
January,
access to the
spring,
downloadable
summer, and then
content
next
listed
fall
on
or
screen,
autumn.
which will roll out between launch and the fall of 2018. Fans and owners of The Legend of Zelda
$30
Breath of the Wild game should also take
This is
note.
great. I like this
November
part, a
9th,
little feature.
We'll distribute a new side quest.
Yeah, we'll cover this into a little deeper detail
So
once the
Link
show
can salvage Hyrule Allrest's
is done.
style.
We'll go over a little bit the
Xenoblade
specifics here.
Chronicles 2 is the next big adventure on Nintendo Switch, launching December 1st. That same day, you can also look
Oh,
forward
look
to
at
the
that
release of
beautiful
Xenoblade
controller.
Chronicles
And
2
again, we
edition
will
on
have
Nintendo
that
Switch Pro
exact
controller,
one
as well
here.
as
And we will show you
Xenoblade Chronicles
guys.
2 special
And then this is
edition.
the full special edition that I was talking about earlier.
collector's edition.
So you have the game and the metal case, the concept designs, and then the artwork, and then all that stuff, which I've been contemplating getting. I just don't know. For me, it would just be that steel case, and I don't know if that's just enough.
The game itself in a special metal game case. If you'd prefer to play the digital version,
And CDs
so
to
that
me
the
don't
adventure
exist
is
anymore.
Always with you on
No.
Nintendo Switch. You can pre-order the game from Nintendo eShop soon after this presentation.
This is a game you have to own
You'll be
physically.
among the first
me.
to play as soon as the game is available on December 1st.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people
Thanks
who
for
like
watching.
going digital now because they don't have to worry about going to a store, waiting in line, making sure it's in stock. They download it right then and there, and they can play without ever having to leave the comfort of their couch.
That definitely is one of the things.
Why digital is becoming so popular.
It is, but for me, I mean, maybe just one of those old timer things is I prefer to have that tangible, actual item. I like to have it on my shelf. I like to be able to see it, things like that. So that is coming from that side. But the other piece of it is I'm on limited space on my Nintendo Switch, right? So I have a 256 gigabyte card on there. We played NBA 2K18 earlier, and that took about 42 gigs. So that took about roughly, call it like a sixth of the card. Then I have other games on there, like SteamWorld Dig, smaller games that don't take up much space. So if I were to go digitally, though, my point that I'm trying to make here is that would get eaten up very quickly, right? So that's part of the reason that I decided to go physical, is because most of the game, not all of the game, but most of the game is on the cartridge. And then, you know, like updates, things like that are done digitally, so that the size that the memory that I'm taking up on my Switch is kind of freed up a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Now, granted, the crap part is, okay, now I have to carry around these little itty bitty cartridges with me everywhere. I'm an adult, so thankfully I don't have too rough of a time with them. Sometimes they are kind of like, I think I misplaced them, but for the most part,
Yeah, I've seen them. I found them randomly throughout the house.
But and I can imagine if I'm a child, right? If I'm younger, you know, those as a parent, those
They're
are scary.
tiny. Yeah.
Those are scary to have around. But I mean, so were the 3DS ones, Game Boy cartridges. You know, in their own respect.
You know, mind you, kids don't have to, or parents don't have to worry so much nowadays because they make them taste like shit.
Exactly. So I mean, worst case, they're gonna try to eat it, something like that. And the other thing too is cartridges don't scratch.
Right.
So that's a benefit. What they do is their stickers peel, things like that, and kids are attracted to peeling those things off. So overall, maybe as a parent, but yeah, there's a good and bad, right? Also, if I am a parent with multiple kids, going digital, that's one digital version I can have on the Switch that each kid can sign in their profile and play. again, there's benefits to having it, but that storage space, I think, is something they're still figuring out. And I think that as they have more games that are larger, those little micro SD cards, they need to expand. I know there's a 2 terabyte one either out or coming out, but man, that was like a couple $100.
You know what I honestly think that Nintendo should really think about doing is on a bigger game, especially like Xenoblades, Breath of the Wild, things like that. They should, when you buy, a physical copy, they should give you the SD card inside of the case. Yeah, you might have to pay an extra, I would say throw in an extra $10, but the fact that I would be getting, say, like a combo pack of the physical game and an extra memory card, depending the size, yeah, I'm willing to dish out a little extra money, because then I'm like, hey, when I run out of storage on the one I currently have in my Switch, I already have the next backup because I bought it with a physical copy.
Well, really, I think so. Nintendo, they have their online services that are coming out soon, right? It was supposed to come out this year, but they pushed it back a year because they're figuring it out. Because
they want to make sure it's good. They don't want to just make something that, especially because they said you're gonna have to pay for it eventually, that it's a shit concept.
Well, it's kind of a shit concept because they want to give you a NES or Super NES game once a month, but then they want to take it away after that month is done. So they want to give you like Super Mario Kart, so you can play online with your friends, like the Super SNES version of it, or Super NES version of it. But then after those 30 days, it's taken away, and if you want it, you have to buy it, right? So that's how they came out with it. The other thing is they have their Nintendo app, so if you want to voice chat, anything like that, you have to download an external app on your phone, which kills your battery. And then obviously there's no virtual console. So like the Wii, they had a big thing called the virtual console where you could buy and play GameCube games, or not GameCube, like Wii games, Nintendo 3DS games, Wii games, N64 games, things like that. That's non-existent right now. So there's a few things that they're missing. But
and I'm sorry, if I'm going to be paying for your service, you best believe you're not going to take my game away from me, especially if you offer it for a download. Like, that's one thing I like about the PlayStation and Xbox, is they'll give out these monthly games that they're like, hey, if you want this, come download it for free because you're part of our community. You're paying for this gold membership, right? Yeah. And I'm sorry, if Nintendo is going to be taking that away, I'm not going to pay for your shitty service.
Exactly. I think that's part of the reason that they pushed it out. Now, ultimately, the point I'm trying to make is with that service, they should take a page out of their competitors' book. And one of the things that their competitors do is cloud saves, right? So as I'm going through all of this, the real point I'm trying to make is I have no problem paying Nintendo $60 a year, $5 a month, whatever it is, to get their crap side of their service, temporary game, whatever. But if they give me cloud saves, right, then that solves a lot of it, right? Because right now, if, let's say, for some reason I have my Switch, everything's on my Switch. If somebody comes and nabs it from me, like if somebody jacks it,
you lose all your games.
That's it. I have like all my save, not just my games, like my saves are gone. My games I can get back. I can't get back my saves, though. I can get back the 160 hours I put into Zelda back. That's all gone. So if they come out with this service and allow cloud saves, well, that solves everything. I can go from Switch to Switch, sign my profile, bring my saves over, they're on the cloud, things like that. And then that eliminates things like this, having to worry about these huge file sizes. Yeah. So, Xenoblade looks awesome, but it's a huge file size, I'm sure. With the huge world comes a huge file size. So if they're allowing me to save it on a cloud, well, that solves a lot of that, right? I'd be more inclined to purchase digitally if I didn't have to store all of it locally, right? Or if I could store, what I wanted to play needed to be locally, but then what I didn't could be on the cloud, right? So instead of deleting it off my Switch, I just, it's on the cloud. I can download it back when I want to play it. Something, just something like that. The fact that they haven't looked at it, or if they are, it just doesn't exist right now. So they just need to really look deeper into that. Anyway, so to kind of wrap it up, overall, I'm really excited for Xenoblade 2. The reason I wanted to do this special around the Direct was because I want you guys at home to be able to see all the cool stuff that they're doing. And I really like the fact that they went so deep into what Xenoblade's going to be. Like that they went deep into the
gameplay and the mechanics.
Yeah, I really like that. To some people, that might kind of turn them off a little bit because they might get scared of like, ugh, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do something. But me personally, me personally, I like that because like I'm already excited for it. This is just more for me to be excited of. Like I know what I'm gonna be doing.
Yeah, now you can't wait with that anticipation of, this is what I'm gonna jump into and start building your empire.
Yeah,
sort of say.
Exactly, and I'm just excited to jump in. Towards the tail end, they covered a couple of things that I want to touch base on. So first off, they announced a $30 expansion pass. And if you guys didn't hit pause, it's okay. We're going to go over it right now. So a couple of things starting December this year. They're going to give you support items for your journey. We don't know exactly what that means yet, but basically additional items just to help you along your journey that you wouldn't get if you don't buy the expansion pass.
I'm assuming maybe some of those blue gems that they showed off.
Yeah.
Again, I've never played Xenoblade, so I'm not quite sure what a support item would classify as. But I'm assuming for me dishing out an extra $30 on what is a $60 game already, it better be a good hefty amount of support items.
What I would imagine would be like extra health, extra magic potions, extra things to help your blades maybe level up. I mean, there could just be a ton of things, but I hope it's decent enough. I hope it's helpful enough, right?
Yeah.
If I'm gonna pay money, like even though I get a ton of things, we're gonna cover more. I hope the first item at least maybe helps me level up quicker, extra XP, whatever it is.
Help you
right?
with the progression of your game.
So flash forward a month into 2018 now. In January, there's gonna be new quests for the main game. So this is something that is tangible that you do pay for DLC, right? So it's an expansion pass. So with expansion comes more worlds, more things to do. So new quests that are coming out for the main game in January 2018. So I like that within maybe a month and a half, 2 months into the game, you already have
more
story to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Later on in spring, which spring could mean March-ish time.
March, April.
There's a new rare blade. Again, I hope they make it worthwhile. Hope they make it to where like you want to pay money to get this blade. But I mean,
then it's solely for the season pass holders and not something that will randomly get leaked out to the rest of the world. Because then how is it rare?
Yeah, exactly. Flash forward to summertime. There's a new challenge battle mode. They didn't really touch base on what this is. I mean, I would assume maybe that's like a PvP kind of thing, or
maybe
a horde mode.
I don't know if they're like trying to do an online thing with this.
I mean, I don't know, but new challenge battle mode coming summer. So I mean, you can kind of look forward to something. And then they're gonna round out the year in fall, autumn time. They have a brand new story and a brand new adventure. So they're gonna end with a bang. So that's cool. So that means like they're gonna further even build out the world.
So this is potentially a year plus game that you're gonna be investing your time into.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's a nice thing, especially with with us already talking about how this is such a big, massive game. Just looking into it, you're already probably gonna be putting. For those diehard Xenoblade fans, plus 50 hours. And then you're talking about content that's going to be released over an entire calendar year.
Yeah.
That's a lot of time to cover. But I'm glad that they're doing it, especially for, the price that they're selling it for.
Absolutely. And one of the cool things that... I mean, I don't know if it's worth $30. $30 is half the price of the game.
Yeah.
I mean, they have
and that's why I'm hesitant with getting the expansion pass because, again, I'm already paying for a full price $60 game. You want me to pay another $30? That's almost $100.
I mean, rough to add tax in there, you're probably looking at $100.
Yeah, 90 and then tax. Yeah, it's roughly $100 that I'm gonna be paying for the game and expansion pass. I was like, I don't know.
That's a rough pill to swallow, to be 100% honest. Now, the cool thing is at least you know what you're getting for your $30, right? They did lay it out for the next year. So I know we've conversated about it offline. Is one of the things that a lot of developers tend to do a lot is they say, here's a $20 expansion, here's a $20 DLC, here's a $30, $40 season pass, whatever. But they don't tell you what you get for that at all. Some they'll tell you like the first thing you get, but they won't tell you what you're gonna get throughout the rest of the year, 2 years,
exclusive
whatever.
content only for season pass holders.
Exactly. So at least here you know what you're gonna get. So right now it's available now, along with the pre-order of the game. So you can decide if you want to buy it now, buy it later. Maybe they'll offer piecemeal if you see like specific things you want to get, but at least you know what you're getting into. $3 might be a little too much. 20 is a lot easier to swallow, but again, I'm not gonna judge until I start seeing what actually comes into fruition. I'm also not gonna purchase till I start seeing what's gonna come out of it, because to start off $30 with just some regular items or some additional items, that's not worth it to me. But now, when the new quest comes out,
my question is if you don't buy it now and you decide to buy it later, does it back give you the stuff?
I mean, I would assume so, because that's what Zelda did. You know, when they had the DLC, if you didn't buy it before, and you bought it later, you still got your crap shirt or your Nintendo Switch shirt. You still got your other items that you got when it first released. So they usually always will give you whatever. Okay. They're gonna give you all or nothing kind of thing.
Yeah, because my question was pretty much like, what if I wait until like the very last of it, where I see the adventure and new quest line and I like it, and then I buy it, and then I don't get, everything that was listed before.
Yeah, well, the one thing that I would think about
then
is
I'll be really pissed
if you are going to buy it, there's some items, and again, some items, we don't know what they are yet, but they can help you through your adventure. If they are truly helpful, that may be something you want earlier than later, because later might mean you're already too far leveled ahead to even need them, want them, or they don't have the same impact. So,
but what if someone who's not buying the game now decides to buy it, say, summer of next year, and they're like, you know what? Let me also buy the expansion pass. Like, by then 2 or 3 items were already released. Yeah. I just don't want them to miss out on that content.
No.
Because then to them, it really will matter.
I mean, they'll get all of it, I'm sure. Along with getting all of it, there's some things coming to another game. So part of the Nintendo Direct, they touched base on a lovely game called Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Which is definitely a favorite here in this studio.
Oh yeah, by far my game of the year. Easy, my game of the last decade, honestly. Probably one of the best games I've ever played. But there was a new update that just released. If you're watching this today on Tuesday, November 14th, 15th, whatever it is now. That is out right now, so go ahead and turn on your Switch, put Zelda in there, and then update it if you haven't already. But version 1.3.3 adds, it's out, and it adds the previously announced Xenoblade Chronicles themed armor. So in the video they showed Rex's armor that you can now get in Zelda Breath of the Wild, which is really, really cool.
I thought that was cute. I like when they mix games like this together. It's kind of like what they did, I don't know if anyone has actually noticed, Animal Crossing New Leaf. They kind of did the whole same thing with it, where if you scanned in one of the Link amiibos, it will give you his blue tunic in your Animal Crossing game. And so I like these little game crossovers where it will have a piece of it, same with Skyrim. And, they gave him Link's shirt.
Yeah. So I like the cross-promotional stuff. It does give you a side quest. From what I've seen, it might take you about an hour or so to kind of finish the side quest and then kind of get all of his 3 armor pieces. So that's just something cool that you can show off in Zelda right now. They continually do that stuff. And I really like it just because if you go do it, you get the armor. It just makes you think about Xenoblade, so it just makes you want to, makes you can't wait for the game, really.
Yeah.
Also, with the update, they also patched in, finally, support for some lovely new Amiibo. So we have the Champions Ballad Amiibos here. So we have all 4 champions. So we have Mipha, Rivali, Urbosa, and Daruk. And starting off here, we're just kind of going to cover what each Amiibo does. So right here we have the lovely young lady Mipha. So what she does is she's going to increase Link's swim speed up. So his swim speed, that he can swim faster, up waterfalls, things like that. It is a level 1 upgrade. So that is really, really cool. The next one we have here is Rivali.
Which is your favorite.
Yeah, he's absolutely my favorite just because he's kind of the big jerk. And I like his attitude, and he doesn't really necessarily get along with Link. He views him as his competitor, not his, superior, and I thought that was really cool, and it was a little, it was fun with the way they did it. But with him, obviously, he lives in the cold, so he helps Link with his cold resistance, again, level 1. And that's that's a pretty cool thing depending where you're at in the game. We're playing it, doing master trials, things like that.
This guy is a really fun one.
Yeah, personally, my favorite race in the game, but this is Daruk. So,
and he's very well made, by the way.
Oh, he's extremely well made.
Oh, he's hefty.
Right? So it really feels worth the money to spend if you're really into the amiibos like we are here. But him, because he lives in the heat, he gives you Flame Guard. So again, level 1, but he gives Link Flame Guard.
He lives in a volcano.
And then lastly, we have Urbosa. So one of the feistiest women.
And the most buffest I have ever seen in my life.
Yeah, so they went strong in with the detail in her 9-pack here. With her, so Urbosa is obviously going to help your electricity. So she's going to give Link electricity resistance.
Yes.
Again, level 1. And if you can see in the back here also, little touch, they put her shield. So this is one of the shields that you'll gain when you go through her village. And I thought that was really cool. It's a nice little touch. Lastly, just touch base on the patch. It also includes various fixes to improve gameplay. And also just kind of gets us ready for the DLC expansion pass, which is the Champions Ballad, which it says coming out in December. No specific date. Come on, Nintendo. Give us a tweet. Give us something. Announce the specific date. And we can't wait to jump back into that. And then lastly, just to round out the show, we don't want to get off the Nintendo train. They seem to be the center of every subject around here, at least in this studio here.
Recently, quite yes. Well, I think they've had the most updates so far. At the end of this year.
Yeah, arguably they've had one of the biggest years that they've had since I can remember. They haven't had this much of an impact in the video game market since, I would say like the maybe GameCube, maybe Mario Galaxy era time. So it's been a little while, maybe since like the Wii, that they've had such an impact across the board that people know what they are selling. Yeah. So last thing we want to leave off on is a Pokemon update. So Ultra Sun and Moon are coming out later this month.
Right.
And with that, one of our favorite Pokemon, Mimikyu, they just announced a brand new move for Mimikyu here.
Right. So those that aren't quite familiar, Sun and Moon had Z moves introduced, right? And with those Z moves, of course, with 2 new games for Sun and Moon Ultra, they're now introducing a Z move for Mimikyu.
Yep.
So I kind of got to preview this a little bit earlier, and I know you had mentioned it was a little bit
creepy,
terrifying. Yes. So we're gonna give you guys a little taste of it right now, so that way you guys can decide what you guys think of this new Z move for Mimikyu.
Yeah. So the Pokemon Company, they released a trailer for Mimikyu, and he's always been one of the creepiest Pokemon, I thought, but he's cute in a weird, creepy way. So we're gonna run you through here on the trailer that they released. They're unveiling for the Z move. And of course, there's that entrance there. So the Pokemon Company, they took our money. They took the money that we had in our pocket out of our pocket. And this game hasn't even come out yet.
Let's snuggle forever. Poor Tyranitar. You can just see how much he's sweating.
So he basically sucks him up. Trainer approves it. She says, don't let him go, suffocate him. If he dies, it's fine.
In this case, Tyranitar did faint.
So one thing I will call BS on is Tyranitar in the wild. You have to take that Larvitar from birth and take them all through the game. My experience with all those games. So that I definitely do call major BS on. They never
show them in the wild.
Yeah, you never see them in the wild. So with that is the show. So thank you guys so much for joining another special episode of Lootcast. This was our Xenoblade Chronicles 2 for Nintendo Switch, coming on December 1st. This is Lootcast centered around all of that. If you guys want to see more content just like this at home, hit the subscribe button, be a good boy and girl, and make sure you also hit that bell, because we don't want you to miss a beat for anything gaming. Also, if you can do us a huge favor, check out our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/thegamelooters.
We're always updating content there.
Always, like Assassin's Creed more recently. Check out our Patreon, patreon.com/thegamelooters. Check out our Facebook. We have a Facebook page, facebook.com/thegamelooters, and our Twitter page, twitter.com/thegamelooters, and tweet us at thegamelooters. We would love to hear your thoughts, and make sure you guys put comments down below, and we will catch you guys next time.